Awesome, awesome. Welcome, everybody. My name is Joshua Dunsky, and welcome to the One Team Call Sunday nights. Great to see all of you here. We're going to tangent the last couple meetings we've had tonight with some of the amazing training that we were privy enough to be a part of at the summit a couple weeks ago. And this is just the beginning. So concepts are great, and we're going to give some concepts, but really the meat and potatoes of how to take our business in 2018 is here. And we're going to start laying down some of those trainings that are tangible and things that we can implement immediately. And then I think Jen and Lisa are going to share some things as well, maybe tonight, depending on the time frame. So everybody ready to jump in? All right.
Yeah.
Jojo, anything you want to go over first, or?
Honestly, just want to send a shout out for the flash post. We've gotten a huge amount of traction off that simple little post about the video. So kudos for that. And if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, we just put up a little post that said, if I sent you a video on how to transform your life in a few short days or something, would you watch it? And I've got people commenting on that haven't commented almost ever on anything. So how simple little things just make a difference. So cool. Thank you.
That's so great.
One thing to note on that is one thing to note on that is like when I posted it, the only people who have commented are ISA people. So while that's awesome, the only people that are going to see my feed now are ISA people because they're the ones commenting. So my suggestion would be is like and love, but don't comment, and let people who aren't ISA do the comments. Even though it seems like super good support, it's what it's doing is, one, you have to check and see if those people are ISA or not first, and then if they're not, you've used some time up. But it also is creating. We're only seeing each other's feeds. Oh, it's hard to hear me. Did you want to repeat what I said?
No. What just repeat.
Oh, come over here. So I'll just repeat it really quickly. I got a ton of comments on my post, but it was all ISA people. And for a good 10 of them, I had to check and see if they were ISA or not. So when you're seeing other people post one of the flash posts, just like and love, don't comment. Because what's going to happen is you're just going to be showing up in each other's feeds, and any other people who aren't in ISA are not going to see that post and are not going to be showing up in your feed as much. So I hope that helps too, because we don't want to have to spend tons of time finding out if our comments are non-ISA people. Thank you.
Hey, Jen Gebby, do you have anything you want to add in before we start up?
No, why don't you just start up, and then I can chime in and just share some things as we're trading and so forth. Yeah.
Cool. So is it okay with all of you if I share my story? All right. So before Isogenics, before I was introduced to this amazing nutrition, so well with my gut health. You've heard me tell a couple stories. I have a business story. I have a health story and some other stories, but this is really about my health. So I really wasn't doing so well. Ironically enough, I have a pretty successful clinic gut program as well. Great at helping other people, but I really couldn't help myself. I had chronic gut issues, severe discomfort every time I would eat. It was horrible. And literally the stress of sitting in morning traffic gave me so much anxiety, it even made things much worse. I would even map out my route to work every commute, knowing where all the bathrooms were. No joke, Lisa will tell you. I was constantly late to the clinic actually because of this. And it actually started way back in third grade when I started playing hockey. I'd get all my gear on. I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning to begin with. My dad would bring me to the rink, get all my gear on. And as soon as I hit the ice, 5 minutes after that, my stomach would just kick in, and I'd have to get off the ice, hit the locker room, and just be in the restroom for a while, miss the beginning of practice. And this happened third grade through the beginning of high school until I stopped playing hockey, actually. So it was horrible. 6 years ago, I was this incredible colleague of mine, Jamie Antoine, who some of you know. As a result, I no longer have those horrible situations. And those situations they stopped me right in my track. My gut is calm. I'm healthy, and I actually have more energy than I did at 25, and I'm 46 years old. I now have the amazing opportunity to share this with people, not just my patients, but people all over the country and anybody I come into contact with who've been suffering so long. So thank you for letting me share this story. It is poignant to tonight. And we're going to get right into what we want to share with you regarding this training. Last week, we discussed, early in the week, we've had a couple calls so far, the 8 keys to building confidence. Tonight, I want to start off with the 3 principles to build confidence. The things that we're going over with right now, we're going to be training on, are the keys. When we talk about a roadmap, we talk about a business plan that Eric Worre gave us to have the business we want. These are the keys. So you're going to hear some concepts, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, exactly what I need to do. So right now, the 3 key principles to building confidence. Key number 1, be willing to publicly fail and be embarrassed. Before we get good, we have to get out there and actually talk to people. And you don't start off as a professional, right? We just learn to just handle it, handle the situation, right? It's critical to move forward. That's why role playing is important, practicing is essential, but actually getting out and talking to people ingrains something in us that builds that confidence, and then comes the posture. And sometimes you can actually flip around the posture, be with the posture to get the confidence, and we can talk about that. But literally, we need to be able to fail publicly before we can move forward. This is what's called learning. We must screw up in order to get good. The reason I did that for you tonight is because I tell my story all the time to people one-on-one, but I never practice it. And when we're at the Influencer Summit, I'm doing it with someone, and I actually took the time to write things down and go through certain steps, and I was like puking all over the place. It was a great eye-opener for me, and I actually loved it while I was doing it, because it made me realize I need to practice away from people. And we'll get to that at the end of this conversation. Every master was once a disaster. We hear that all the time. T. Harv Eker is notorious for saying that. So we must be willing to fail publicly before we get good. Key number 2, this is the key principle number 2. Let others' opinions go. This was one of my issues. I was so worried about my colleagues and successful business people judging me because I'm supposed to be the chiropractor. Why is he trying to sell me on nutrition? Why is he talking to me about a shake? Why is he talking to me about a retirement plan, an exit strategy? And I was so caught up in what they would think of me that I never got anywhere until one day it just stopped. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm going to talk about this because this could change your life if you wanted to. So these opinions from other people are not serving us. And it's the fear of judgment, it's the fear of opinion that keep us small. 2018 is about being big. We talked about this last Sunday night. We talked about Thursday. We're going big. So if we're going big, we have to release that stuff, especially if those other people's opinions, especially if those people don't respect you. Think about it, or respect what you do. We spend years trying to get the respect and approval from people who don't respect us. It's crazy, but that's what we do. And key principle number 3 is called, excuse me, plan, do, review. Plan, do, review. Eric Worre does this a million times. Every single time he lectures, he plans out his lecture and his presentation. He does it and he reviews it. And I do that also, actually, before I present. It's crucial because it really does. It's like we're teaching ourselves where we can be better. So plan, do, review is the formula to master anything. I don't care if you want to master the violin, if you want to race motocross, if you want to be a better accountant. Plan, do, review allows you to master anything you want, even in relationships. So he had us repeat this. I can become a master of anything through this process. I can be a master of anything through this process. So let's get away from those concepts now and actually into the details and into the meat. So I want to open this up right now. So please just unmute yourself and let's get a little interactive. What can we do in our business? excuse me, what can we control in our business? There's a lot that we're not in control of. There's a lot we can't control. What can we control? Who wants to throw some things out there? What can you, yeah, Lindsay, go ahead.
Staying focused and consistent.
Love it. Awesome.
My energy.
Awesome. Who said that? Was that Jen? Love it. So what we can control, what we can focus on, our energy. Paul, did you have something?
I just gonna say what we think.
Beautiful. What we think. Anybody else? Lewis.
Our actions.
Our actions. I love it. Exactly. There's so much we can control that we forget. You know, we kind of think, oh, you know, I should have done that. I'm just going to sit back and watch other people do some stuff. Wait a second. We have so much control. So let's talk about this. The things we can control. Number one, can we increase the number of exposures? Absolutely. I can decide if I want to talk to 2 people today. If I'm going to give myself a goal of 2 people, I'm going to do 2 people. I'm going to do 3 people. I'm going to do 5 people. And literally, there have been times where I've sat in my driveway and not come in because I was supposed to call 3 people that day. And it's 10 o'clock at night, and I didn't do it ahead of time. And that's where the commitment comes in. We either say we're going to commit, and we actually do it, or we say we're going to commit, and, you know, I'll let it slide today. And today turns into tomorrow, and then next week, and I'm the king of procrastination. So,
Hey, Josh, we
Yes.
keep losing you. I don't know if your mouthpiece is in a weird spot or something.
oh, it might be my hands moving the laptop.
Okay, we keep losing you, and then we don't get you for a couple of sentences. So
Will you interrupt me again if you see that? Just wave your hands and I'll see you. And if that happens, I don't know. Yeah, I'll move locations. So did you hear that first one? Okay. So all business, actually, Jojo, I'm gonna keep your face in the corner of my computer away from my notes so I can see you. All businesses it's a conversation. So number one, we have control over the number of exposures. All business is simply a conversation. Number two, can we increase the number of presenters in our business? Yes. Can we teach others to present? Yes, but we don't. Why haven't we taken the time to say, Linda, you know what? I know you've told me that you want to present. Do you know how to present? And Linda says, no. You know what? That's my fault. And I take ownership. When are you free? Let's sit down and let's go over what you can do to become a great presenter, or the steps to present. How would you like that? Awesome, right? So we can increase the number of presenters in our business. This is a business. Am I coming in okay? Awesome. This is a business where we grow, yes, somewhat because of us, but mainly because of our teams. We can hit certain ranks through enrolling, but once you hit a certain level, it's your team that's going to get you there. So is it good to have one presenter, you being the only presenter? Or you want a team of 10, 20 presenters? Of course. So we can increase the number of presenters. And you're going to see a common denominator here. This is where we need to focus, right? This is where we need to focus on the things we can control. So if you want a team, if you want to create a team of influencers, you must teach them how to present. You have to teach your team how to present. Thus, the second part of this is, under the second number, under this heading is, thus, this will increase the number of super recruiters. We talked last week on the number of super recruiters is going to dictate whether your business grows, declines, or stays steady. So for those of you that weren't on last week, a super recruiter is someone who's enrolled 10 people or more in a lifetime. Not a year, not a month, but in a lifetime. Pat yourself on the back if you've enrolled 10 people or more ever. That's huge. That is huge. That's 2% of our world in network marketing. So congratulations. Congratulations to you, and understand that there's a formula to figure out if your growth, if your business is not improving at all, if it is improving or if it's declining. And if we have time, we'll go over that formula is. But you want a team of super recruiters. You want 3% or more of a team that are super recruiters. And there's an easy way to figure that out. The person that holds the mic or the person that holds the marker makes the money, hands down. You want to present, makes the most money, right? You want to present and you want to grow presenters on your team. Number 3, radical duplication is controllable. You have control over radical duplication. I'm not going to spend time on it because last week we went into radical duplication. If you missed it, get notes from someone. Okay? What's that? Or the recording. So radical duplication is number 3. Number 4, foundation rank. Foundation rank. We have control over having a manager factory in our business. We have control to show each and every single person how to become a manager. We do. And you want to create a manager factory as fast as you possibly can. Bang, bang, bang. I'm sorry you're all looking up at me. I was told on Proper Media you want to look down, right? Is that it? But I'm sitting on the floor, straight. So sorry if you're. No, I can't right now. It's going to screw me up. Okay. So foundation rank is number 4. Create managers as fast as we can. Number 5. Company conventions. Get to conventions. That yields radical growth. Do we have control over that? You betcha we do. Each and every one of us can absolutely control the number of company events we get to. That will drastically increase your revenue. Proven over and over and over again. Even if you don't want it to, it just does. Right? It's one of those laws, I guess. Number 6, personal recruiting outcome. It's simply a choice. It's simply a choice to be a recruiter or not. You know, you talk to a certain number of people, and by percentages, you're going to enroll people. So can we just talk to 3 people? No. We have to talk to the numbers, and we're going to have people come on board as long as we're doing the trainings, as long as we're doing the activity. If we don't do that activity, then no, we're not going to be great. You know, and Eric Worre says, you know, you can't just hang on for the ride for 8 years, for 4 years, for 10 years, 15 years. You've got to go into activity. You're not going to be successful if you just sit and sit on the coattails or just ride out this. Sure, you can put great nutrition in your body for 10 years or 15 years. But if you want a business, you've got to do the do. So personal recruiting outcome is controllable. Once a year, ready? So once a year, pick a season and bring in the class of the next year. So right now, this is my personal recruiting outcome. I'm bringing in the class of 2018. And then next year, we're going to pick a season. We're going to bring in the class of 2019. And you're doing that too. I can't tell you the number of conversations I've had with people just feeling frustrated where I was. And had a conversation one time with Dave MacArthur. And he was like, brother, you got to bring in the class of 2014. You got to bring in the class of 2015. Because although some of these people in your business now will be there and will be with you, some of them won't. You can't push people who aren't ready. You've got to look for the people who are hungry. They just don't know what this is, right? And here's the key. Here's the key to bringing in the new class. It's got to be in the shortest time frame possible. People try to debunk this all the time, and Eric Worre says, listen, it's painful. It is painful to do it slowly. It's actually just as painful to do it slowly as it is fast. The difference is your results are tenfold if you do it quickly. So the key to enrolling is to do it in the shortest time frame as you can. If you don't do this, people feel like an orphan. You enroll one person here, a month goes by, a person there, another 2 months goes by, a person there. They're not on anybody's team, they don't feel, because they came in by themselves, versus 20 and 30. 20 and 30. So we're going to talk about 20 and 30, recruiting 20 people in 30 days. Eric Worre talks about this all the time. These blitzes, right? Why does he do it? Because they make you the most money and the most solid team. There's energy. There's vibration throughout that team. When you're in massive action, you have an energy that you don't have if you're, I'm going to call Sally today, and a week later I'm going to call Joe, and we'll wait for Joe's answer before I talk to anybody else. You get it. You grow together. There's vibration, and you're 5 times more productive when you're in massive action. Massive action. People, you get on the phone. You don't care what that person that you were on with just told you. You get on the phone again with the next person, the next person. They feel that energy. It's exciting. So why 20 and 30? Okay, why 20 and 30? Well, here it is. If you enroll 20 people in 30 days, here's what happens. 12 of those people, and this is industry-wide, right? You can't change this. This is just the average industry-wide. 20 enrolled in that 30 days. Out of those 20, 12 will do something. They'll do a little work here and there and make you a little bit of money. Out of the 12, excuse me, 12 will do something. 8 of those people are gone. Eric Worre talks about they end up in WPP, the Witness Protection Program. You never see them again. They never show up anywhere again. They're just gone. Change their name, right? 8 are still there after 90 days. So 12 will do something. 8 are still there after 90 days. Okay? 4 are actually present with you after 1 year. So out of the 8 now, 4 are still present after 1 year. So that means another 4 have actually gone. Okay? One of those four are doing 50% of all your volume. Okay? So out of the 4 that are still there after a year, one of those 4 are still, one of those 4 are doing 50% of all your volume. No, not yet. No. And then 2 people at years 5 and after are your rock stars. So you get down to 2 people, right? So 4 are still present after 1 year. 1 of those are doing 50% of all your volume, and 2 after 5 years are your rock stars. And this is all of which you get if you do this in 30 days. So who's not going to try to do this? And I'll tell you, Lisa and I have done this before, and we've hit 20 in 30 days. It's powerful. It's awesome. And we have those people on our team right now. And we're doing it this month. And we did it June. So we're speaking to you from not just a theoretical standpoint. It's actually not theoretical, because Eric Worre is, he does it, and people know he does it, and he's done it, and he has these leaders, and people that do it. But from a personal standpoint, it's exciting. It's fun. We had a blitz day at our house. I think Wendy was there. I think Chad was there. What's that? Jojo. I think Jojo was there. We did it, and we actually had people on Zoom. We had a board up. We were keeping score. It was fun. It was energetic. It was awesome. Yeah, Jojo, that's when you made your sauce with eggs dripped in the sauce. That was phenomenal. Still dream about those. So set the example for your team and do this, right? We can't ask our team to do things we're not willing to do. So how do you do that? Do it. And if you're not sure, ask someone to coach you. Anybody on this call will coach you and help you and design it with you. We want everybody to succeed. So let's ask another question. Does everybody, before I jump off of that, let me move this message. All right.
Josh.
Yes.
I can just also add, just to relate to your kind of personal experience, the numbers you just shared. So I was, after the training with Eric Worre, I started going through my back office and looking at the numbers, because, embarrassingly, I said this before, like I really didn't know my numbers, the stats, and all these things that he was referring to, which I'm like, gosh, if I really want to treat this like a business, or you get paid like a business, I should know these things. Anyways, I couldn't believe it. But last year, 2016, I only brought on 16 people the entire year. And it was, and a lot of those people are still here, right? And I was still able to help people, bring on people, and we still had amazing growth and new people joining. But I could totally relate to what Eric Worre was saying as far as it being more slow and painful and not having that energy. Whereas this year, really when Andrew was laid off and I was able to really focus on my business, and I did these 3 kind of bigger blitzes where I brought in anywhere from 16 to 20 people in a very short period of time. And it was such a huge difference. And it's so much more fun. And I think the bigger part is, like Josh was saying, is that you can bring those teams, those classes of people together. And so they're naturally going to work together more. So anyways, it was interesting for Eric to share these things, and then me going back and analyzing kind of my work and the difference, right, of my energy and the actions. And really, I wasn't a great role model last year, right? And so I wasn't being a great leader. I wasn't being a good influencer, and I can totally see that. And also how really by me playing small, it was, I kind of failed a lot of the people I brought on. I see it more on myself of not doing things I could have to maybe help them be more successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember, Jen, when you first hit executive, you're in Boston, and I think we were living in Medway at the time, or Ashland. I could feel your energy. You were on the phone, just just what you think of a blitz, Jen was doing by herself. It was like 11 o'clock at night, banging, banging, banging. And you hit executive, and we could feel
Right.
the vibration coming through the phone. And it was just that energy. You just can't reproduce that unless you're in that mode. And people on the other end, they feel they just feel it. And it's
Right.
exciting. People
And that energy was from the year prior, right? And so it was crazy to also see is that was like when I first started. And I actually think people like Lewis and Anna, and I think maybe even Kiara, you were at the tail end of that. So that's actually kind of cool to see 3 people from that initial blitz where I brought in like 25 people in 11 days. And you know, I also just, I was paid better too, right? From Isagenix because I was able to be in the leadership pools and earn bonuses and do those types of things. And then, but yeah, so anyways, it's just, you know, it's a learning process and there's different kind of growth things I think I had to do along the way to figure it out. But, you know, it is good to do the plan, do, review, right? And more of that self-reflecting and something I should definitely do more of, just to kind of see like what works and, you know, how it helps support people in your downline.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Any other comments or questions regarding 20 and 30?
Oh, and one last thing I just want to say. I think it was the easiest for me when I was ignorance on fire. Like when I first did that, I really didn't know a lot. And so I think that's my biggest piece of advice is to not, I think the more research I did and the more I started to learn about the science, I actually then overwhelmed myself and then started talking too much. So don't feel like you need to know everything to just start sharing.
Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. Thank you. Any other comments or questions before we move on here regarding 20 and 30? Everybody can do it. It's a decision. And guess what happens? Guess what happens? Because this happened one time to us when we planned to do it. We didn't hit it, but I think we enrolled maybe 16 or 17 people. Imagine that. Imagine you go for 20 and you enroll 10. Imagine if you roll in 7. That's incredible. If you enroll 5, it's incredible. So you never lose, right? You never lose. So yeah, 20 and 30 every 90 days. Boom. So it's a win-win. All right. By a show of hands, excuse me, throat tonight. How many people practice 3-way calls without being in front of a prospect? I'm not going to raise my hand because I don't do it either. Does anybody practice 3-way calls when you're not in front of a prospect? Awesome. Thank you for being honest. We don't. Why don't we? Eric Ward's like, why are you? This is crucial. This is crucial. Did I say 3-way calls? I meant my story. I'm a bozo.
That's why no one raised their hand.
That's why no one raised their hand.
Wait,
How do you practice a 3-way call? I own it. 30-second story or your story. Let's get back.
Dumped everybody.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody here practice? And it's okay if you do. Does anybody here actually practice their 30-second story or their story except when they're in front of a prospect? Okay. So a couple times. No, good, Lewis. If you did, that's awesome. Anybody else? That's great. Laura, nice. Mona, who else? Raise your hand so I can see you. Mary, Molly, this is great. I'm the slacker here. This is great. Well, hats off to you guys because most people don't, and that means you're taking this ultra seriously, and I commend you for that. I haven't. I've practiced in a training before in a room at a UIA or one of those, but never in person. So that's incredible that you do it. What I'm doing now is I'm doing this because I have to do this. And what Eric Ward said, the things that will make you the most money, spend your time on. It's just simple, right? It's just simple. So most people don't, though. There are some exceptions. This is the one thing that will make you the most money in your entire business is your story. Is your story. Write that down. It is the #1 way to generate significant money, the most significant money in your business. If you can't tell your story to someone, what's going to happen? How are you going to relate? How are they going to relate to you? How are you going to find common ground? So why is telling your story the most important thing? Because, right, we all know this. we buy from people that we know, like, and trust. We're going to spend money with someone that we don't know, we don't trust. We didn't take time to build that bridge of trust and relationship. No. So I have to relate to you. I have to be relatable. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes you're not. You know, and so there is a practice behind this. There is a process of getting good, I guess. You know, no one knows how to tell. Great example, 2 weeks ago when I was in the room and I actually practiced and wrote it down with someone, I fumbled all over the place and it was awesome. I actually liked it. I liked it because I said to myself, I really need to practice. And it showed me that. So we have to practice. We need to collect stories. We need to have a teacher story. We need to have a doctor story, a mom story, a business person story, a health story. That's what we are. We're highly paid story collectors, right? I don't have to be the teacher story. I can use Stacy's story, who's a teacher. I can use Lisa's story, who's a stay-at-home mom. JoJo's story as a business builder, right? And then I also have my story. So when I'm in front of a prospect, I have to quickly in my brain register real quick what's going to be the most relatable. Oh, you know what? I just want to tell you, your story resonates with me so much because my friend actually was a firefighter and he was 60 pounds overweight and he was feeling the pain, right? So I want to relate to this guy as a firefighter or a business person. So we have to have all these stories. And of course, use stories with yourself if you can. But if you can't yet, that's okay. Use someone else's story. And here are the 4 steps to the story. Number 1, when you tell your story, number 1, tell your background. Tell your background. Number 2, what you didn't like about it. What was painful about it. Okay? Number 3, that you found a solution to those problems. So number 2 is what you didn't like about it, the pain, or what the obstacle was. And number 3 is actually that you found a solution to those problems. And number 4, how I feel about the future. Those are not my steps. Those are from Eric Worre. And it's incredible. So I'm not saying right now this has to be your 30-second story. It should be tight, concise, and clear. We also need a 30-second story, right? Because that's what we really want to use with people. We don't want to go on and on and on. But you can pull a 30-second story out of this exercise. So number 1, background. Number 2, what you didn't like about it. Number 3, found a solution to those problems. And number 4, how I felt about the future. Okay? Because of time, I can't believe it's already been 35 minutes. All right. We were going to break up a little bit. We had actually a cool exercise to do.
Wait, here's an exercise.
Okay, good. So which part do you think out of 1, 2, 3, and 4, which part of your story is the most important part? I want you to see your hands. Use 1, 2, 3, or 4. I see some 2s. Anybody say number 1, the first part, your background? Okay. Anybody say 2? Let's see all the 2s. What you didn't like or your pain. Number 3, right? Anybody say number 3? Show me those 3s. Found a solution to the problems. Anybody 3? And what about 4? How I feel about the future. Anybody think? Okay, there's a couple 4s. Well, I will tell you, number 2 is the most crucial aspect of this storytelling. And we did an exercise. We left out 1 and 2. And we just presented the solution and how I felt about the future. Has anybody done that before? Some of you are shaking your heads. Those of you that have done this before and you've left out during this exercise 1 and 2, what did it feel like? Or what did it feel like to present it? Or what did it feel like to hear it without number 1, number 2?
I felt like I was selling.
Felt like you were selling. Beautiful. Anybody else? Perfect. It does. You feel like you're selling something because it's not genuine. There's people, you got to hear the pain. The pain builds that bridge. You got to build the bridge with the person, and then comes the trust. Everybody can relate the pain. Eliza.
So when we went to UIA, David Wood made us call people on break and do our 30-second story word for word. And I called my stepmom, who knows my story very well. And I asked her for feedback after, and she said, I hated to hear it because it made me feel sad because of your pain. And I said, thank you. I said, because that shows that I was actually showing you how I felt, but it truly it hurt her to hear it. And not necessarily to say that that's a good thing, but to say that the one thing she remembered was my pain.
Powerful. So powerful. And when you talk to someone who's got their guard up, right? The guard up, we sit like this, right? With your arms crossed, and what happens when you get real and authentic with someone? It's very hard for them to keep up that posture, that wall. And that's what opens up those, oh my gosh, this is not a shake. This is someone's heart story. You know, this is incredible.
It's the moment when they lean in.
Lisa said, if you can, it's the moment when they lean in. And that's so true. Thank you, Eliza, very much. Here's how we practice, and we won't have time to do it tonight, but this is what I want you to do. No, this is what you can do if you want to get good. This is what I'm going to do. Number one, practice your story, and then with someone, and ask yourself, did you bond with that person? Then you're going to tell that story again and emphasize the pain part. Right? We're talking 30 seconds to a minute here. It's real quick. Tell your story a second time and emphasize the pain. And then ask yourself, what changed that second time? Right? And what you're probably going to find is there more bonding. Just what Eliza said, there's more bonding there. Okay? And then you tell your story again without number one and number two, right? And that's when you feel like you're selling. And when you do it, it gives you that feeling, because I can tell you, for those of you that haven't done it, you feel like you're selling. But then when you do it and you feel like you're selling, you never forget that. That's why we've got to do these things in order to get really good. So here's the homework if you choose to blow out 2018. Tell your story to a family member, number one. Number two, tell your story to close friends. Okay? These are not necessarily prospects. These are people that you're practicing on. Number three, tell your story 100 times before Christmas. Who here can do that? Who can tell? I'm not saying you're gonna. You get to decide who can tell it 100 times before Christmas. We all can. It's a choice if we want to. Right? Number four, record a video of your story. Short video. And you can do whatever you want with it. Record a video. You want to get crazy and bold? Put it on your team page. Or maybe someone will start a thread. I don't know. Maybe they will. I'm not saying anybody has to, but we'll see. Number five, train your team. Train your team. Right? Train our team. We have to train our team how to do this. 30-minute storytelling workshop. Have a workshop. Maybe you choose on a Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. Everybody, let's get together for 30 minutes and let's do a workshop and we train. And you can do those steps. And it's fun and you're doing work and you're going to build that energy. You have to tell. The reason I started this team call with my story, for those of you that jumped on a little late, I actually told my story, one of my stories, because I never do that on a team call. I didn't even think about doing it on a team call. And Eric Worre said, every single time you train, if you're running a call, if you're a guest speaker, when you present, you tell your story. It helps us be better, but become more relatable again. And people forget. We have new people on. That's how we drive people and we open our world up to people. It sucks people in because you're building another bond. So now that we're done with that, any questions on telling your story? Any comments on telling your story? Anybody want to share their story? Oh, Paul. Hey, buddy. Thanks for volunteering. Go ahead.
You bet. All right. So before Isagenix, I'd given up on a business that I started. Feeling like a complete failure, I still had appeared to be the superhero that my son saw that I was, or thought that I was. After being introduced to Isagenix by my buddy Chad, I realized that I really felt like I'd given up on myself. So now I'm back to learning how to run a business where I get to make an immediate positive impact in someone else's life.
I love it. Big clap. Paul, that was awesome, man. Jen Gebby, did you say you wanted to share?
Yeah, I'll go.
Awesome.
So for most of my life, I thought success was getting into corporate America. And after college, I landed a great sales job and started working my way up the corporate ladder, but was really surprised by this feeling of emptiness I continued to feel. And I remember just being on my commute to and from work. It'd be 45 minutes to an hour. And I just always had this voice in the back of my head saying, is this really how life is supposed to be? I remember having the feeling of you know, my uncles who I always looked up to and thinking like, gosh, like I'm in my 20s. Am I going to have to do this for 40 more years? And I think the thing that really hit me the most is that I started seeing my mom friends who were, you know, successful female entrepreneurs starting families and having to come back to work too soon. And again, in the back of my mind, I just always thought there has to be another way. So I'm really excited to say that 3.5 years ago, I found a solution because I was introduced by to this amazing company by my husband's chiropractor. And what I'm the most excited about now is that I get to help moms and dads not only get their health back and have, you know, the energy that we're all often missing and lacking in our life, but I'm also able to help with this financial piece and just giving more time freedom and flexibility in families.
Woohoo! Beautiful, beautiful, awesome, awesome. Anybody else? Jojo.
Before I was introduced to this incredible opportunity, I was a stressed out business owner, had 3 locations, a ton of teenage employees, and I had to stick the key in the door in order to make $1, could never take a vacation. And I was introduced to this company by my sister, and I've been here for 12 years. And what I've learned in that 12 years is not only have I been able to get rid of those 3 salons that sucked the life out of me, but I've also been able to retire my husband from his job that sucked the life out of him, and now we can work from anywhere we want to. We can vacation at any point we want to, and now I just feel real strongly about letting everyone know that there is a better way.
Woohoo! All right, beautiful. Who else had their hand up? Laura, go right ahead, Laura.
Before Isagenix, I was a frustrated athlete who could not break through performance barriers. And I was introduced to Isagenix 5 years ago. And after putting this nutrition in my body, I had more energy than I ever had before. My body found muscles that I didn't even know existed. And I ended up finishing on the podium multiple times. Prior to this, I was always finishing in the bottom of the pack. In fact, I actually won an entire triathlon. So I am so inspired to share with other people that it's never too late, because I'm 49 and I feel better at 49 than I did at 29.
Woohoo! All right. Awesome, guys. This is great. Lisa.
Hi guys, my name is Lisa Dunsky. Before Isagenix, I'm sorry, hold on. Let me start over. So before Isagenix blessed our family, I worked a corporate Monday through Friday job. I commuted an hour and a half each way, and I left my house before my daughter woke up, and I didn't go home until after she went to bed. So I never got to see her until the weekends. I missed some of the most precious moments in her life. Words, steps, milestones. My overtime hours always got cut and raises didn't exist due to the economy. I never finished earning my degree, so my ceiling was pretty low and there was never room to advance. So every 2 years I'd have to hop to a new firm in the hopes that I could get paid just a little bit more. I'd work my tail off to help the company's bottom line grow while mine stayed the same or declined. I was never satisfied or fulfilled in my career, always thinking there was something better out there. And I lived for the weekends, just to be able to spend time with my family and not be at work. Isagenix came into our lives a little over 6 years ago, and it changed everything. I not only transformed my physical health, but I found an opportunity to create my own legacy. I now build my own bottom line, all while helping others transform their physical and financial freedom. I get paychecks and bonuses in real money and from the heart. But most of all, I know I now get as much time with my family as I want because I build this dream from wherever I am. I live freely each day in financial and physical abundance, and I'm so excited about my future as this gets better every day that I help others feel as good as me.
Woo! All right. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you so much, everyone. That was great. And remember, we want to take those stories and bring them. Some of you were tight with the 30 seconds, so thank you. And some of us were a little longer, so you can take your overall story and bring it right down. So we also have a tight 30-second story, right? So we want to train on that too. So that was great. Did you know that there's an equal amount of people who join for the business and stay for the products as do join for the products and stay for the business? Okay? This is across the board. There's an equal amount of people who join for the business and stay for the products as there are who join for the products and stay for the business. So, what does that mean? Anyone want to take a shot at what that means to us? Why am I telling you this?
We've got something.
Not to judge, or you should always share both opportunities, the health and financial piece.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Right. And this is something I'm guilty of, so my situation is in the clinic. I don't talk about the business in the clinic. I use the nutrition for a very specific purpose. And I don't talk about the business with patients. Outside of the clinic, I wasn't sharing both. I was sharing either the business or the nutrition for some time. And I realized what a big mistake, what a disservice I was doing to all those people. So Jen, Gabby, you're right on. We've got to share both. We can't assume we know what someone needs. And most people need both. So that's absolutely true. So write this down. Every person who signs up plus 6 months, so their sign-up date plus 6 months, if they don't earn any commission, 20% of them stay active. I'll say it again, so don't worry, I'll repeat it. 20% stay active, 80% fall off. So I'll say this again. For every person who signs up, okay, so that sign-up date plus 6 months, and if they don't earn any commission in that time frame, only 20% of them will stay with you, 80% will fall off. On the flip side, for every person who signs up plus 6 months again and earns, you ready for this? $1. If they earn $1 or more in that 6 month window, you have 74% retention. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So if you could help someone get a PIB, $25 PIB, guess what? They're not going anywhere. Or very likely they're going to stay with you. 74% chance they're going to stay with you at $1. So what should our goal be? You guys, these are all things. Light bulbs are going off right and left. And I looked over and I saw light bulbs going off on Lisa's head and Jen Gebby's head as we were hearing this information. We're like, oh my goodness, this is the key to these are the keys. We need to show people how to make money immediately. I need to get someone paid immediately if I want to increase the likelihood. This isn't rocket science. I'm so thankful I don't have to invent this stuff because it would never go anywhere. That would never happen. We have these brilliant minds who've designed this company and these formulations for us to be successful. And one of those things is show someone how to make $1 because there's a 74% chance they're going to be with you. And if you show them how to make more money, it goes up to like 90. If someone makes, I think, if someone can cycle $54, I think it's like 98 or 99% they're never leaving for life. Something crazy like that. So, but we know $1. So where do we have to focus? Let's show people how to get paid immediately. That's the meat and potatoes for tonight that I had on here. Does anybody want to chat about that, about showing people how to get paid? Does anyone want to talk about a manager factory? I mean, we need to create manager factories.
9 minutes. Don't get people too excited.
Okay, yeah, 9 minutes. We won't be able to do it. So let's this Sunday night call, we want to deliver meat, but we also want to give an opportunity for people to ask questions. And this is a team effort, and we want to lay things out that people might be struggling with. Some things we'll be able to hash out. Some things will obviously need extra training with. Does anybody want to comment on anything or ask questions on anything that we covered tonight? Awesome. Anybody on the lines that has a question, you can just unmute and ask.
Hey, Josh, I got something.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, just my biggest issue has always been staying, inspired, because it's easy to get dragged down into what we've always done. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. I've posted recently on a couple of our pages that I really just started by accident. Watched an interview by John Paul DeJoria, who is the guy behind Paul Mitchell Systems. I did not know, but he's also the co-founder of Patron Tequila. And his story about what he does in those companies is amazing. 35 years of business. He's only had a turnover of 70 employees. And
Wow.
30 years. And that's, you know, and I think, I forget how many, he's got thousands of people that work for him. You know, John Paul Mitchell, or, you know, Paul Mitchell Systems, Patron Tequila. He's, you know, the money behind, he supports the Sea Shepherd. He's got a foundation that's called Peace, Love, and Happiness. And if you go to peacelovehappinessfoundation.org, you can see all the things that he does. He really, truly inspired me this past week. And I don't know how many new contacts I've made since yesterday, but it's been about 6 or 8 that I've made. So just incredible, because I really feel what he's done is what we're here trying to do.
Awesome, Paul. Great info, and congratulations to you. That's huge. I want to comment on one of the first things that you said about staying in action. One of the things that we were going to talk about, what's that?
Staying inspired.
Staying inspired, excuse me. One of the things that we were going to talk about that we can't talk about tonight was the calendar. Eric Worre talked about set up your calendar for 18 months. Yeah, for 18 months. And for me, yes, you get all the events down, you get all the Super Saturdays down, you get all your big events in life down, you calendar out your time. For me, that keeps me inspired, because if I'm having a bad day, I know tomorrow I have a meeting with Lewis. And then on Wednesday, we're going to a meeting, a sip and sample. And on Thursday, we have a presentation at the governor's mansion. Or wherever, you know what I mean? You have these things laid out. So not only does it keep you in action, but it does keep, for me, it keeps me inspired that I can't let this get me down that I didn't get any calls done. I know the future's in my calendar, and we need to live with our calendar. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But great info there. Anybody else have any comments?
Who's going to NYKO?
NYKO, raise your hands.
Woo!
Yes.
Can I just throw something out real quick?
Please.
So just as a way to, no question that our batteries run down when we do something every single day. We get a bunch of no's, and so those things can totally run us down. So to stay plugged into something every single day that lifts you up, so whether it's another teammate, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a call, you know, Lenny does a call every morning at 8:30 Pacific time. Rhonda Collier does a call every morning at 9:30 Pacific time, that you can plug into every single day, Monday through Friday, for 15 minutes and get charged up. So those are just things that are options. There's a ton of stuff out there to stay plugged into. But I listened to a really good option for us to be able to talk to new people right now, especially when we're out shopping, we're doing all this holiday stuff, we're around a ton of people, is to ask the person standing next to you what their New Year's resolution is, and to start a conversation up with that, and be able to make a connection that way. Because how many people are already looking into January 1st as being their life transformation in some way, and how many solutions we can offer. So what a cool way to just meet somebody close. Hey, I've been asking everybody all day, what's your New Year's resolution? So what's yours? And, make a new friend that way. So just the thought process of how to make some connections.
Yeah, so great. So great. Thank you, JoJo. And how about doing something for someone else too? If you're having a bad day, reaching out and saying, listen, is there anything you need? Can I be of assistance to you? Can I help you? Can I, give my time or my, ear to someone? So we're 4 minutes left here. And
if anybody, I know we were talking about New Year kickoff, and if anybody got their 2 canisters of cookies and cream purchased between whenever it was released and tonight at 9:00 Pacific, make sure that you send us the order, or let whoever know. So let Josh, let Lisa, let Vinny, let me, whatever, know that you have it. Send the picture of the order so we can throw you in the raffle, because we're going to raffle off a ticket for New Year kickoff. So we already got names in the bowl. Yay! So
Awesome. Housekeeping, Limitless Influencers meeting tomorrow night, 8:30. That's already scheduled. What else is going on this week?
Between last week and this week, the top 40 championship challengers are getting an extra $500 bonus. So
Can you guys hear that?
Really capitalize on all the point earning opportunities that you have if you've opted into that contest. I would say the biggest way to grab points in a hurry and in it's a great way to earn points. Oops.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Questions, comments, anything?
did everybody hear what Lisa said? Because okay, can you repeat that, Lisa? Because you got muted in the middle of that.
Okay, so between last week and this week, Championship Challenge, the top 40 in that challenge are getting an extra $500 bonus. So if you're ranked in the top 40 between last week and this week, you still have, this week and next week, you still have another week to get your way up there. The best way in my mind and in my experience is to grab points is obviously enrollments are 30 points, but the IsaBody Challenge. Look down into your downline and get everybody of your person enrolled on the IsaBody Challenge. One, it's a great way to grab retention, but two, if somebody is inactive or not really doing much anymore, it's a great conversation opener so that you can say, hey, I just wanted to see if you would participate in this contest with us. They might say to you, well, you know what, it's getting to that time of year, I might want to, reset everything. So it's a good way to get people re-engaged. That's all. Oh.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's rock it out this week. We know what we have to do. Comments are always great, and we hope you found value in tonight's call. If you didn't, I don't know, let Lisa know. Don't tell me. I'm just kidding. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Thank you for being here. Love you all.
Love you all. Bye.